Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is a kickboxing bout scheduled for 3 rounds in the Shamrock Fighting Championships 155-pound kickboxing division. Introducing first, fighting out of the Bogart Smokehouse blue corner, a kickboxer that stands 6 feet tall. He weighed in at 152.2 pounds. Fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri, Troy Harvey Valient. Across the cage, his opponent, fighting tonight out of the First Form red corner. This competitor stands 5 feet 8 inches tall. Official weight 154 even. Fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri, introducing Eric Polo.
Referee Tim Francis has the call for this kickboxing bout.
Got 2 young, hungry fighters.
Can you imagine, though, back 18 years old, his first time stepping into the cage? It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. You know, I can imagine if I was 18, I'd have, you know, the supreme confidence of an 18-year-old. And honestly, Eric looks very composed in there. Troy with a little swing and a miss there, but.
Yeah, Troy, the much taller fighter here. Eric Polovina in the red tape, Troy Harvey in the blue.
Yeah, Troy's going to want to try to fight long, keep Eric at the end of his punches on the outside. Obviously, he's working that front push kick there. You know, your legs are longer than your arms, so, you know, that increases your reach. You don't want to punch before you kick, though. Eric's doing a good job moving. He's going to try to, you know, find his way on the inside and, you know, get through that reach. Ooh, good job there. He did a good job. You know, he threw a couple of shots, you know, kind of head movement, back in. Nice movement by Eric.
Big chop of the leg there coming from Troy.
Nice leg kicks by Troy.
Yeah, trying to cut down that front. Polovina, though, using those hands, trying to get inside, making it dirty. That's a better place to be, especially when you're the shorter fighter.
You know, Eric just landed a really good inside leg kick. I'd like to see him maybe go to that. When you're the shorter fighter, you start chopping that front leg of the taller fighter. It's going to make it that much easier to get in. Nice job by Eric, you know, closing the distance. Troy landed a good knee in the exchange. Troy's going to need to get a little bit more active. See Troy, you know, has more weight on that back leg, a little bit more of that traditional Thai stance. Really trying to land a counter shot, you can see there.
Polovina is really trying to reach, though. He's really kind of pulling up high. But he's doing decent trying to get inside. He's trying to neutralize the long arms of Troy.
He keeps kind of, you know, fainting and then
Tonight's bouts are sponsored in part by Supplement Superstores.
You know, the inside of that
Prices
reach
cheaper
of Troy.
than the internet.
He's got to be careful, you know, ducking his
We'd
head.
also
when,
like
you
to
know, when he
thank
does that on
Pappy's
the way in,
Smokehouse,
he's doing a good
a
job closing
true
the distance. I'd like to
knockout
see everybody
barbecue
work the body a little
experience.
bit more.
Online at
So if you were in the corner here
PappySmokehouse.com.
of Troy Harvey Valient, what advice are you going to give him?
You know, if I'm in Troy's corner, I got to tell him, you got to be more active. You got to use your reach. Use that jab. Start establishing that range.
Tonight's co-main event is sponsored by the U.S. Navy. You can stop by and visit our friends from the U.S. Navy
here in the
right
corner of
outside by the
Eric Polvino,
merchandise table. They have brought with them the U.S. Navy Pull-Up Challenge. So if you think you've got what it takes, make sure you stop by and say hi to our friends from the U.S. Navy, sponsors of tonight's co-main event.
You know, when you have a longer fighter, you chop that leg, get that body, slow them down, really open up your game. That was a very evenly contested round. I probably would give that last round to Eric, though. He's a little bit more active.
I would agree with that. Second round underway. Polovina going to the body, but very nice leg kicks there coming out of Valient.
Troy goes high there. He slips, lost his foot in there. He's going to want to try to set those up.
Good duck under there out of Polovina. He's showing some decent head movement.
Ooh, got caught on the way in there.
Also, we're seeing a lot of stance changes here out of Polovina.
Yeah, you saw he just switched from the southpaw to the orthodox. He's doing a good job trying to cut angles. He's leaping in, though, a little bit more. You don't want to leave yourself exposed. Nice outside leg.
Oh, big chops.
Tripled it up.
That kind of sends a message.
Troy went high again. He's looking for that head kick.
Yeah, he's definitely head hunting there. Polo, I mean, he's fresh out of high school.
So he recovers quickly.
Absolutely. Also, he like I said, he's Albanian like Arion Zek. He trains alongside of him. You know, these guys, anybody in Arion Zek's camp, you know, they're going to take a whooping in training.
Great exchange by these guys. You know, Eric is doing a good job putting the pressure on Troy. With a little bit of a low blow there. Inadvertent. Eric was going.
Valient will get 5 minutes to recover. Never fun.
You know, when you're the shorter fighter and you're going for that push kick, you just got to get a little bit higher. Troy will have 5 minutes to recover here.
Well, Adam, we have an amazing card tonight here as we were just in our second bout of the evening. Our main event tonight, Josh Weston taking on Josh Augustine. Josh Weston is one of the most active fighters, not only in the Midwest, but in the United States. All right, we are going to go back into the action here.
You saw that was kind of close there. You know, Eric dipped his head, and he almost ate a knee.
Almost ate one badly.
Almost ate a knee. He's got to be careful dipping off to his right side there as he tries to, you know, close the distance. Nice body shot.
Polovina needs to get his chin down a bit, too. He really is kind of fighting with that head high, and I know that happens when you're fighting a much taller opponent.
Yeah, you know, as you're trying to close the distance and then punch up to the head, you know, it can lead to the tendency of putting your chin out there, which is why if you're really working that body, it's a little bit safer as a shorter fighter. And, again, you can slow down the bigger, longer fighter. Great exchange by both those guys there. Troy, you know, again, going high with that head kick. Very evenly matched, these two guys.
Yeah, it's a tough one to call here. How do you see it so far?
You know, the first round, again, I definitely probably would decisively give that one to Eric. He just seemed to be a little bit more active, landing more shots. That second round was a little bit more even, though, so it's a little bit tougher. Eric was very active on his feet, but Troy seemed to be getting the better of the exchanges in that round. So going into this third round, I'm not telling either one of these fighters you're winning. I'm telling you it's even, 1-1. You have to come out and win this third round.
Ring girl Whitney doing work tonight here at Shamrock FC 340. Jeremy Johnson along tonight with Bellator veteran and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Adam Meredith.
I will say, Jeremy, both these guys look very fresh coming into this third round.
Well, I mean, they really are. They're only 18 and 22 years old here, so.
Well, that's great to see, though. I mean,
yeah,
it tells me they're training.
It's the next generation of the sport, too. Touch of the gloves into the third and final round.
Quick
Big teep kick there coming
right
out of Valient. Nice overhand right there out of Polvino, but eats a left hand.
Yeah, you're seeing Eric really trying to push the pressure. Ducked his head, almost ate a knee there.
Yeah.
Again, he's got to be careful ducking that head.
Referee Tim Francis gives him a warning on that. Polovino going downstairs. Now, Valient, though, has done a great job of using that leg kick. He's trying to shut down that front leg. When you shut down the front leg, you take away the power.
You know, Troy's doing a good job working the body. He's landed several knees and a few body kicks already, really making Eric pay as he's coming in. Eric, again, just pushing the pace, trying to close that distance. He is the shorter fighter, so he has to close.
Oh, big knee there.
Tim Francis warning Troy, there are no
1 minute remaining.
Yeah, you can't do the tie clinch in this type of kickboxing. You can only grab the shoulders.
Makes it tough. It's you know,
big jumping knee.
It's very natural to plumb, you know, clinch,
right,
you know, where your hands touch behind the neck, but you cannot do it in this rule set.
It's every Muay Thai class teaches that tie plumb.
Yeah, absolutely, and most kickboxing classes too. So it's just a more effective way to control your opponent.
Polvino pushing forward here.
30 seconds remaining.
Great pressure. Good knee there. Tim Francis steps in, breaks it up. Inside leg kick there.
That leg kick is really starting to do some damage.
Yeah, Eric needs to be careful, you know, keeping those hands down. Troy doing a good job with that inside leg kick. Landing
now
some big shots. Lots of
Polvino
knees.
working his way inside.
Nice short hook there by Troy. You know,
Beautiful fight. They're going the distance tonight.
you know, Eric probably brought the pace a little bit more that round, although I think Troy got the better of the exchanges. I'm not sure how you score that one.
It's a very, very tough one to call.
It's a tough one.
It's going to be if you're basing it on working the inside, or if you are going to work on effective strikes. It's a tough one to call. As we take a look here at our instant replay, again, Valient did a great job of setting up the teep kick, looking at the knee there, but Polvino answers right back with the heavy hands.
Yeah, neither one of those guys kind of decisively was controlling any of those exchanges. They were both getting very good exchanges.
Let's send this one up to the cage to Joe Parisi to make it official for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, this one goes to the judges' scorecards where we have a unanimous decision. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's winner is boxing out of the blue corner. Your winner, Troy Harvey Valient.
A big win there in his first kickboxing outing. Troy Harvey Valient making a statement there, but it had to be a very close fight. I had it 2-1 on my scorecard.
Same, 2-1 for Troy. He did a great job, you know, keeping composed. He is more effective with his strikes. That was a great outing by both of those fighters.
Beautiful fight here at Shamrock FC 340 live from River City Casino.